I'm Karen Ziegler, and I help enterprise leaders cultivate the creative potential of their employees to innovate the future of how their companies work. And I do this through the delivery of design thinking, training, and consulting. Welcome back, and or if you're new to this channel, I hope you'll stick with us. Today we're going to be talking about innovation, the marathon of innovation. And a couple of the problems I see often in companies when they're starting out new to trying to innovate in their industry or in their company is the first, there's one of two mistakes. Usually it's a lack of vision and where it is they want to go or take the company with this innovation, or two, it's a lack of the inner work. And what do I mean by the inner work? You know, let's take for a minute the example of a marathon runner, right? I haven't run any marathons myself, and quite frankly, after a year of lockdowns, I'd be lucky if I could run down the street or a block or two, but you know, I prefer to take the bike at my age anyway. But we all know that marathon runners are insidious trainers. And they have such a routine for their health and their exercise and fitness regimen, their sleep regimen, even the routine that they have on the day of the race, the shoes they wear, the pants they wear, you know, everything is planned to the minute detail. You know, when they skip meals, when they carb up, all those things go into running a marathon. You just don't show up and run the race. And I liken that to innovation because there are so many details in innovations that have to be looked at, you know. And if you want to break this analogy down, the race is obviously the marketplace, and that's where businesses go to race against their competitors. If you wanted an equivalent to what the products or services are, I would say that the product or services is what carries you through the race. Perhaps it's the tennis shoes that the marathon runner wears, or the, you know, maybe it's the special shorts that don't chafe their thighs, or, you know, if they're running an Ironman marathon, then it's their bike. Whatever it is, the equipment that you're bringing to the race that's going to get you from the start to the finish. But even that doesn't take into consideration the entire aspect of the runner. There is still the runner himself, and for the company, the runner is your organization. It is the employees within your organization. And it would seem ludicrous for you to show up to run a marathon thinking as long as you knew the race, where it started, where it ended, what you would expect along the way, that you could win the race. Or even to think that if you were a marathon runner and you knew the race course and you knew all the details about the race, and that you also had the top of the line equipment, you know, the best shoes, the best, you know, sunglasses, the best bike, whatever it is you need for that particular race, that you could still be able to win the marathon. You know, it's ludicrous to think that that's all that you would have to do in order to win the marathon. No, you would have to train for the race. You would have to innovate your body with the right nutrients, the right rest, the right workout routines. There's so much that happens inside the body of the runner. And for an organization in the marathon of innovation, there's so much that goes on inside the body of the company. And it is that body that allows them to build or obtain or build the products and services and run the race. But so often, companies are so focused on the race and maybe the products and the services that are going to win the race that they forget the inner work, the work on the body, and what's going to keep it in optimal shape so that they can run the race without getting tired, without, you know, a muscle cramp throwing them off on the side of the road, you know, without a health issue taking them down, or some other form of an emergency. You know, so often companies are quick to go straight to the race or straight to the product and service and they neglect the body, the company itself. And you only need to think of, for instance, in the marathon world in 1960, I believe it was, and I may be saying his name wrong, but a gentleman from East Africa, B.B. Bikila, won a marathon, and what shocked the world was not only did he run the marathon, and he was pretty much a nobody at that point, but he also ran it barefoot. So in our innovation analogy, he had no product or service to carry him. It was only his body and the health of his body and the inspiration of his spirit that carried him across the finish line. And so much of what is happening in organizations today are not nourishing the spirit of the individual in their company. They're not building them up. They're not getting them healthy. They're not preparing them for the race. They're definitely not equipping them to run the race efficiently. You know, you notice that when you can have, and I have friends that work in one of the leading technology firms in the country, in the world actually, and she always laughs about them being the cobbler's son, because the technology, even though they're the leading technology company around the globe, the technology their employees are working on is like decades old. And so that is often what is holding companies back. It's not that they don't know the race or what's happening in the race or what obstacles they might entail in the race. You know, it's not that they don't have the best equipment. Quite frankly, you know, you look at some of the disruptors in the industries that you're in, and you'll find they didn't know anything about the equipment. For instance, Airbnb, they knew nothing about the hotel industry, yet they come out of nowhere because they had the inspiration and the spirit to run the race, knowing that they were prepared personally or as a company, not necessarily as a product. You can also see that in products that really maybe aren't as great as your product or service, but yet they're beating the pants off of you. And that makes you dig a little deeper and look into, you know, what's going on in that organization that those people are so on fire and pumped up about maybe even a superior product that is making them run the race and win it. So my message to you today is innovation is like a marathon, and marathon is more than just about getting in the race. It's about the product and service you offer, the equipment that you use in your race, as well as how you prepare the body, which is the company and the organization. Is it strong? Is it healthy? Does it have the best of everything that it needs in order to fulfill what it needs to accomplish in the race? So I want to thank you for watching this video. Thank you for liking it, subscribing to this channel, and sharing it with your colleagues. I hope you have a great day. Please don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn or Twitter. Bye now.